What's up guys, macadii here, and today guys, week 6 of the DSL League, where I'm up against Potaco, coach of the Minnesota Nidokings. Now this is the second time I've recorded this, because I forgot to switch on my sound recording volume stuff, so I do apologise. Hopefully it would be as good as the time before, but we'll just have to see. But yeah, if you guys are excited, don't forget to leave a like down below, I would really appreciate it. So this one I'm doing early because I'm going camping, and yeah, I was really excited with this team. I'm really, I didn't manage to have as much time with this prep, but I feel the quality was really good, and hopefully you guys do enjoy the team builder and also the battle from here. So what we're going to do is run through what Potaco could be bringing, what I'm going to be bringing, and then go on to the battle from there. So he could bring Mega Ampharos, Galvantula, Mismagius, Hydreigon, Heatran, Hitmontop, Bisharp, Donphan, Tangrowth, Togetic, and Slowbro. So a few things to note from this is his draft is very slow compared to mine. I think I've only got yeah. He's only got 2 mons that break base 100 speed at 105, 108, and the rest of them all are below. There's one at 98, and then the rest are all below the 80s. So pretty much all of my team, I think 10 out of the 11 of my team pretty much outspeed 9 of his teammates. That's very nice for us. So we're in a very strong position in terms of the speed. So my aim for this was basically to try and go like bulky offense, but with enough speed to outspeed his bulk, basically. And I wanted some hazard stat going on as well, because when you look at his defoggers, he's got Hitmontop, he's got the Donphan, he's got the Togetic. Togetic could come. I was like 50-50 about whether it would come or not, but I knew that most likely the Hitmontop or Donphan will be coming. Donphan is quite, reasonable check to Talonflame, but I guess the Mega Ampharos is there as well. But Donphan gives him the advantage. It's his rocker as well. I think it is, no, Heatran's his other rocker as well. So it would also give him a way to Rapid Spin. So it depends what he would end up bringing. But I was expecting one of those to come and have Rapid Spin as well. So what I decided was I wanted to build a team where he just literally can't, he can't Rapid Spin on it without taking a huge amount of damage or being risk of burned and stuff like that. So we've got, first of all, we've got the Gardevoir, which obviously both Hitmontop and Donphan take a huge amount of damage from, Latias, Heracross can set up on them, Nidoking can bop them, Milotic can scald and potentially burn them, and Fortress has the explosion on there, so they can't even Rapid Spin on this guy. I've got a speedy guy to try and stop that from happening. So the most prominent threats were mainly the Ampharos. Hydreigon was going to be spooky, but I had a lot of speed and stuff to outspeed, like speedy things to outspeed him, so I wasn't massively worried. So and also had a good amount of bulk with Milotic. Milotic was going to be the real sort of pin to my defensive core, checking things like the Heatran, the Hydreigon, Bisharp, the Donphan, and also the Slowbro to an extent. So there's going to be a lot of pressure on Milotic this week, so I had to make sure I was going to be able to keep it healthy and also do its job properly. So let's run through what we got. So we've got Mega Gardevoir, which is Speed Crept to outspeed Hydreigon, with Hyper Voice, Hidden Power Ground, Will-O-Wisp, and Calm Mind. When you look at his team, the only thing that resists the Hyper Voice is the Heatran. Hidden Power Ground does a huge amount to that, so basically I don't need any other courage apart from that. I've got the Will-O-Wisp on there because that allows me to 1v1 the Bisharp, because if he goes for Sucker Punch, I can Will-O-Wisp him, all of that good stuff from there. And then the Calm Mind is designed, if I can get rid of the Galvantula and Mismagius, or he decides not to bring them, and brings a very bulky team, I can Calm Mind up and potentially sweep late game from there. It also helps me that all his Revenge Killers that outspeed me naturally are all special, so that makes life a lot easier. So the Calm Mind might be able to help me, take a super effective sort of revenge kill from there. Then I've got the Latias, which is designed to basically drop Dracos and also just be sort of fairly bulky. He's not got a huge amount to reliably take this out, apart from like the Bisharp. Galvantula I can drop a Draco on if its sash is broken, and the rest of them, like his Regenerator Core, really don't appreciate having Dracos dropped on them. I've got the Hidden Power Fighting and a Reflect type that allows me to 1v1 the Bisharp. So if I know the Bisharp's coming in, I can switch into Bisharp, Reflect type, then go for the Hidden Power Fighting to take it out from there. So yeah, should work relatively well, I'm hoping. If, I was hoping if he does end up bringing Bisharp, and then the Roost to try and get some HP back. Then I've got my Wing Condition, which is my Heracross, with Mega Horn, Close Combat, Swords Dance, and Substitutes. This guy is designed to set up subs on things like the Hitmontop, potentially, the Donphan, potentially, force switches with the Tangrowth as a Slowbro. Regenerator cores rely a lot on switching. So being able to force switches with the Heracross, because especially when it breaks that Regenerator core, is very nice. If I can get Swords Dance up, push myself down to Salak Berry of either Substitute or just letting myself take hits, then I can basically sweep from there. I've also got Guts on there, so I can switch into the Slowbro, potentially taking a Scald, and then like the burn will basically mean I can start off as a Wall Breaker, and then once it brings me down to my Salak Berry range, which is 25%, I've then got 2 or 3 turns of Speedy Wall Breaker, and just do a huge amount of damage from there. Next, we've got the Nidoking, which is going to be absolutely huge this match. This outspeeds all of his base 70s, which are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of his team. And I think it hits everything super effectively on his team, apart from Hitmontop. And the Galvantula, that's it. The rest of them, 9 out of the 11 of them, I hit super effectively, and I hit very hard. I've got the Toxic Spikes on there, which puts pressure on his Rapid Spinners, because his Rapid Spinners have no reliable recovery. So if I can just basically counteract the leftovers with Toxic, and also do a little bit more, I can wear them down very easily. I just need to put 1 layer up, force them to come out and spin, and they become Toxic. And then it puts a lot of stress on his Regenerator Core as well, because every time they're coming in, they're getting Toxic, being worn down from there, and stuff like that. I don't know if I'd do 1 layer or 2 layer. 1 layer is quite nice to actually, for Regenerator Cores, because you actually end up doing a little bit more that first turn. Then we've got the Milotic with the Wk6 Berry, so this is designed to be able to take a hit from the Ampharos or Galvantula if they come in. I've got the Mirror Coat there, so if the Ampharos goes with Thunderbolt or Volt Switch, I can just blast something back with a Mirror Coat and do a huge amount. I wouldn't expect the Hydreigon to come in, especially if it's the Mega Ampharos, just because I could be going for Ice Beam. It doesn't make too much sense, and that's the only, I guess Bisharp as well, you wouldn't really expect that to come in. So I would expect something else to come in that's not immune to Mirror Coat, so that works quite well in our favour. We've got the Scald and Ice Beam on there, which hits a lot of his team very hard. And then finally the Recover, with max HP, max defense, basically, as I said, designed to check quite a lot of his offensive threats on the team. Next, I've got the Fortress with the Custap Berry and Sturdy. This guy's designed to set up rocks, Rapid Spin for me if needs be. I don't rely on I don't worry too much about rocks on my side, but it's nice to get rid of them, and it's mainly for the sticky webs and stuff like that. I've got the Volt Switch there, which allows me to Volt Switch out and, you know, potentially pivot into Gardevoir and things like that. And then finally, the Explosion. So this is designed to, as I said, stop me from being Rapid Spun on. It does a huge amount to a potential threat outside of Miss Magus, but Miss Magus could be coming in, but I can Volt Switch. I can play around it, basically. I've just got to play make the right predictions, and I'm good to go from there. So that's the team I decided to build, and what we're going to do now is go over to the battle where you can see what exactly happened. Okay, so we are at the battle here, and as you can see, he brought a slightly different team to what I was expecting. A lot of the very scary threats, like the Bisharp, the Tangrowth, Hydreigon, didn't end up coming, so that was quite interesting, but he has got a serious amount of bulk with the Togetic, the Donphan, the Mega Ampharos, Hitmontop, and also the Slowbro. The good news is Nidoqueen's going to have a field day, because it can hit so many of these mons super effectively and just do a huge amount of damage to them. I want to try and get those T-Spikes up because it's looking very, very nice. He has a couple of Levitate users, but apart from that, the other guys don't, or flying users, the other guys don't particularly appreciate Toxic because they don't have any form of reliable recovery outside of the Slowbro. And yeah, so that was kind of the plan. I wanted to lead off with my Fortress. I wasn't too sure what the lead was going to be on his side. Potentially the Donphan. And that was basically his only really reliable lead. Or maybe even the Ampharos. So I decided that Fortress was my way to go. So I lead off with Fortress as he leads off with Donphan. I want to just set up my rocks. See what sort of set this is. See if this has got Rapid Spin. He goes for Stealth Rocks off first turn. As I go for the Rapid Spin, and I want to try and break his Sturdy, basically. And then I can go for Rocks next turn, and then switch out on the Rapid Spin, and then put a huge amount of pressure. But unfortunately, he has got those leftovers, so his Sturdy becomes back intact. So I just switch back into the Milotic here, as he goes and sets up his Stealth Rock again. Not too worried about that. So I'm just going to be here, and fire off a Scald. See what decides to come in. So out comes the Togetic. This is looking to be Spadef Togetic, which is a bit of a pain, because it is very, very bulky. So I'm going to switch out here and go into my Nidoqueen, as he's now going to go for Wish. So it's a Wish passing Togetic, and that indicates he might not have the Fire Blast, because I'm kind of worried about that with Fortress, which is why I don't want to just switch this into this guy. So I am pivoted into Nidoqueen here. He goes to the Wish. I'm expecting him to either Protect or switch out into something that's going to be able to take the hit. So I just set up a layer of T-Spikes here on his Protect. So that's really, really nice for us. Being able to get those T-Spikes up is going to be absolutely huge. So I'm not too sure what he's going to do from here. He does switch out, and he does switch into the Slowbro. I could have gone for Ice Beam or Thunderbolt, because I have that Bolt Beam coverage. And, it was difficult. He was either going to go into Donphan or he was going to go into the Slowbro. Overall, I was like, I think Ice Beam is the better way to go, because I want to put pressure on that Donphan and stop him from spinning, because it looks like the Togetic might not have the defog the way he played around it. He might have tried to, potentially tried to defog on my Nidoking. I'm not too sure, especially when he's specially defensive. He would have been able to take the hit. So he goes into the Slowbro here as I go for the Ice Beam. Not doing a huge amount, but this is where the T-Spikes come in. He's now worn down to a point where if he's max HP, it looks like he had a little bit of a special defense investment, but I did have enough there, power in me, to go for the Thunderbolt and take him out from there. So that's absolutely fantastic. This Slowbro goes down. That's number 1 of that giant defensive core down. Out comes the Donphan, and at this point here, I was like, he's either going to spin, he's going to Earthquake, or he's going to knock off. So I need to find a switch that works well with all of those. Unfortunately, though, I don't particularly have one. I was tempted to go into Latios because the Toxic is going to break the Sturdy, and I could drop a Draco, but then he can just go back into his Togetic. So I thought my best bet was to go into my Fortress, because I can go into Fortress, I can spin away these hazards. There's not a huge amount this guy can do to me, and I can keep spamming my hazards, and eventually I'm going to win, because that Toxic's Poison's going to wear him down to a point where he's going to die, and I'm good to go from there. So I go for Rapid Spin, he goes to Rapid Spin, gets rid of that Toxic Spikes, but the damage is already done really, because it is going to be wearing this guy down, and it also helped me get that kill on Slowbro. So I just go for my Rocks here as he goes out into Ampharos. Now at this point here, he makes a bit of a mistake. He forgot that he had to Mega Up first turn, so he does not Mega Up here, and he just goes for the Agility as I go for the Explosion. It doesn't make too much difference on mine. It probably actually did more harm to him, because the Explosion is going to do more. He's going to outspeed my entire team anyway, so it doesn't make too much difference to me, but for him, he's going to take quite a lot from that, so I'm absolutely fine with that. And Fortress is going to go down. So out comes Gardevoir. I had two choices. I could either go into my Nidoking and take a massive hit, or I could go into Gardevoir and take a massive hit. I had to think about it, and I was like, I think Gardevoir is the best way to go, because Nidoking is still really, really good. I think Nidoking is slightly better than Gardevoir in this situation. So I went into Gardevoir. I know I can live this Thunderbolt here, and he has no steel moves or anything like that to hit me incredibly hard. So he just goes to the T-Bolt, doing 62%, reasonable amount of damage, as I go for the Hyper Voice and take him out from there. So that's really nice, a big prominent threat out the way, and we're looking very, very solid. Out comes Dr. Fate. Now, this is actually a very spooky Pokemon. If this is sub-Calm Mind, I could be in a bit of trouble. So I had to have a think about what my best bet was to take this out, and I decided my best way is just to go for Hyper Voices. I've not got much HP for him to try and recover up on. I can drop a Draco on him to force him out, and sort of put pressure on him that way, if he does end up being sub-Calm Minds. And with my Hyper Voices doing so much damage to him, he can't set up too much on me. So I decided Hyper Voice was the best way to go. I didn't want to switch out into like my Milotic, especially when I don't have Haze, and him start setting up subs and Calm Minding, and I can't break his sub, and you guys know that nightmare. So I'm just going to go for the Hyper Voice here, as he does revenge kill me with the Hex, indicating he might be Scarf, which I wouldn't be too surprised at, because it allows him to outspeed things like my Latias. So I just play the safe card here. I go into Nidoqueen. I know I can take a hit and basically fire off a reasonably powerful hit if I want to. He goes to the Endure, and I go for the Ice Beam. So this is a bulky one, because I do absolutely nothing to this guy, considering I'm offensive Nidoqueen, but I do get the crit, which is nice, and he shows the Endure. So this indicates to me he's some sort of berry set, either like a speed berry or a special attack berry or something like that. So I know I've got to be careful. He switches out here, so we know next time he comes in, he's going to be in berry range. So we've got to be really careful about that. So out comes Bull here, and we are going to be able to take that out with the Ice Beams. That's fantastic for us, as he's now going to go back into it. No berry pops, and that's alarm bells for me. So something's going funny here. It's probably going to be Custap Berry, considering the fact he has the Endure, and it's not showing anything. So I just decided to switch here, and I go into my Milotic. He's got no evidence of being able to recover up, as he does just go for the Destiny Bond here, and there's nothing there. So that's great. So he keeps going for Destiny Bonds here. I can just go for Mirror Coat. Now my thoughts on this was, if he keeps going for Destiny Bonds and I go for a Scald, I lose my Milotic, he could still potentially win, because Milotic's a really great, like, basically I can just wall the rest of his team and, you know, get Scald burns and whittle down the Togetic and stuff like that, if he does pack the Heal Bell. So I decided I want to keep my Milotic around, so my safest play is just to keep going for those Mirror Coats. Eventually he's going to have to attack me, lose that Destiny Bond, and then I'm going to be able to bounce it back in his face and kill him from there. So I'm just going to keep going for the Mirror Coat. He hasn't got enough HP to sub if he has it, but he does reveal he's got the T-Wave. So that's absolutely fine. I'm just going to keep Mirror Coating here. He's only got 8 PP of Destiny Bonds, so I can literally just keep spamming this. I've got something crazy like 32 Mirror Coats. So I'm definitely going to win this PP war, and it's very unlikely I'm actually going to end up losing my Milotic here. He does go for another Endure. I'm just going to keep going for the Mirror Coat. There are going to be some 50-50s, but he's got to basically get more of them right, and the more he gets wrong, the more pressure it is on him not to use it. So in the end, I'm much more likely to be able to win this match than him. He does end up going for the Hex here to give up, and I do take him out with the Mirror Coat. Outcome's over easy now. This guy is still a big threat. He's still very, very difficult for me to kill. I realized at this point I probably under prepped for him a little bit, considering how little damage I'm doing, and I should have probably brought knockoff on something. But I do get paralyzed here, which is unfortunate. And now we get a little bit of sort of paralysis stall, where my Lotic's gonna sort of take loads of damage, and I hope I don't get parried and lose my, you know, I'm not able to recover up and stuff like that. And there were some very spooky moments where I did get parried just before the last one. I had to hope. So I do get up to a good amount of HP, and each time this happens, I go for Scald, and I'm basically fishing for a burn here, because if I can get a burn, I can predict him to Heal Bell, switch out into something like my Nidoking, and put a huge amount of pressure on him from there. So he does end up doing that, and I switch out here and go into my Nidoking as he goes for the Heal Bell. So he then decides just to stay in, as I go for the Ice Beam. I hadn't revealed the Earth Power, I don't think, at this point, so I think he was expecting the Sludge Wave, so he does go for the Seismic Toss here, and luckily that allows me to 2-hit KO him, otherwise it would have been a very, very long and drawn out match. But eventually I think I might have been able to win, I'm pretty sure. Out comes the Hitmontop, as he's going to fake out me, flinch me, and I'm going to be basically be able to take this guy out, because he is a defensive Hitmontop, so it's going to be absolutely fine for me. I can 2-hit KO. He goes to close combat, basically guaranteeing that I can 2-hit KO because of the special defense drop, and I go for that Earth Power. I am able to take him out from there. So that's very, very nice, and we do finish up winning 4-0, so really, really good game, Potaco. I was really happy with how my prep worked this time, and there were some very big threats that you didn't, like the Agility Ampharos could have been very, very scary. Apparently it was electric terrain as well, and that allowed him to do things like potentially Oko my Milotic, but he didn't know I was a Wakamberry, and Oko my Mega Gardevoir, and basically sweep from there. So I was one turn away from having to deal with something very, very spooky, but luckily, with the Wakamberry, we had a bit of backup, and also the Nidoking possibly being able to take a Dragon Pulse from the amount of HP that it was out. But anyway, I hope you guys did enjoy this battle. If you did, don't forget to leave a like. I would really, really appreciate it, and I will see you guys at the next one. Macadii out.